Felicity was, I wouldn't be here talking to you without that show. I mean, I sent down a videotape from Toronto in '98.
Welcome to Etalk.
Thanks, man.
And congratulations. I didn't know what to expect.
You saw the movie?
I did.
Oh, cool.
Like, I actually saw it. I experienced it.
You experienced
it.
And
as Mr. Cronenberg said, it's a journey.
You talked to him?
I did.
Yeah. He's a good one to talk to about the movie for sure. He'll explain it much better than I can.
No, I got to chat with him and Vigo.
Oh, nice.
So I'm still excited about it because, as Vigo put it, it's one of those films where you watch it and you're like, oh, wow. And then when you go back to it or you have a conversation about it or maybe you see it again, and there's just so much more to it.
Yeah, I mean, how I judge movies now as an older guy is if I'm still thinking about it 2 or 3 days later. It's not an immediate thing. If you're still asking questions about it, sometimes you leave a movie and you're like, I didn't really like it, and then 3 days later, it's still weighing on you. That's how you know it's kind of a good movie, whether you had some problems with it or not. And this one, definitely, I've seen it twice now, and I'll try to watch it at one of these screenings coming up because, I love watching it. You find new things every time you see it. I'm
so glad you said that.
Yeah.
That is exactly where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about you specifically.
Sure.
I mean, you said that this is a bucket list to work with.
Yeah, I mean, look, as a Canadian, you always want to work with, there's a few guys, and I've been lucky to work with some of them, but even, Cronenberg would be on my list even if, it's nothing to do with him being Canadian. Right. I just think he's one of those guys that hadn't made a movie in a while, and when I heard he was making another one after 8 years off, I was super excited. And for it to be sort of a movie in the genre of how he started was extra special to me, to be a part of that. Because my, cinephile friends, sci-fi friends in L.A., they love him.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, definitely one of our gems, right?
He is.
I think what I like so far about what's happening with the audiences that have seen it, it's like, people are like, wait a minute, you watched it?
Yeah.
Whoa, how was it? Was it gross? Was it this? And then you realize, and you said you've seen it twice now. For me, you realize, it really those scenes, even if you're talking about the surgeries or the digestive portions of it, it all becomes so normal, so quick.
That's the thing. They kind of drop you in pretty quick to all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're watching a trailer and how a movie's going to be sold, they're going to show all that stuff and make it look really evocative and all these things. But it really is a slower moving, meditative piece on life and art, technology, the environment, all these other things that come into play there. An allegory for all those things. So it's not just a crazy, gross out movie at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know, there was something about that I loved.
Yeah.
Obviously, for you, film is your life. For me, I mean, it's a huge portion of my life as well, just being with this job. Yeah. But the journey that this film has brought me on, going from oh no, I don't even want to see it. It's gonna be so gross.
Right.
And then I'm watching it at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And then by 2 p.m. I'm like, nah, it was actually really deep.
It is too, because the two leads of the movie, Vigo and Leia, everybody else is just players in and around their story, and really it's kind of a love story too between those two, and how it ends up, without giving too much away, is actually, for this crazy movie, it's really sweet and nice and innocent too. So I love this movie.
What did you connect to most about being the leader of this futuristic movement?
With this role, more than anything I've probably ever done, it wasn't as easy to hang my hat on something. The subversive group of the leader of men. I just kind of kept looking at this guy as a guy who was slowly losing his mind, not sleeping, slowly losing his mind. And he's a very wily, charismatic, weird character. So I had so much fun playing him. But it was more of a challenge, obviously, than other stuff I've been doing lately.
Did you look at snack bars any differently?
No, that was a lot. I was most concerned about what these chocolate bar things were going to be made of, because I knew I was going to have to eat thousands. Right. But it was all right. They did a very nice job, and it wasn't too bad.
Well, you look great. Maybe I should grab some of those snack bars.
This is the cans no food diet.
Yeah, amazing. When you're watching that, I mean, not watching, but when you're in that role, and I imagine you get lost in that role, and you said there are those emotional moments, right?
For sure.
Without giving away too much, the connection between the father and the son, and loss, and all that. Plus, in your real life, I believe you were having.
I was about to have a kid.
You were about to have a kid.
Had not had her yet.
So is there ever any sort of like an intersectionality?
Well, I kept saying, wow, I wish I had filmed this movie now, you know what I mean? Because then I'd have a much more immediate knowingness about having a kid. At that time, I was still just a dumb guy with no kid, trying to play a guy that's losing his kid. But, yes, I still was able to, go there with my imagination or whatever. But it's tricky whenever you're dealing with that sort of material. It can be really tricky.
You mentioned Leia.
Yeah.
You talked about Vigo.
Yeah.
There's Don. There's Kristen.
Yeah.
This is a dope cast.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that was, as much as I was excited to work with Cronenberg, the three of those guys, they're at the top of their game right now, and so getting to work with them that doesn't happen every day, you know what I mean? So I got to set on my first day, and Kristen and Vigo were doing a scene, and they were blowing it out of the water. I was watching them, and
the scene.
Yeah, that scene. That's where they're filming that scene.
You saw that scene?
That was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh man, I better step it up here,
Oh.
So, which was cool, which is what you want, You want to be playing with people that are really going for it and, are, been doing this a long time and are amazing. So I was pretty lucky with that.
You saw that scene?
Yeah, I was watching and going, I can't phone it in now.
No, definitely. Now, if I may, I'm gonna sort of pivot over to Grey's because I can't have
Very
you here.
different.
Yeah, I am so different.
Switch.
So different. Hard, sharp right.
Hard, sharp right.
Obviously, there's this romantic cliffhanger where Meredith is chasing after Nick. Would you be open to returning to?
I'll do, she's a really good friend of mine outside of the show, and, she's been doing it, obviously, since the beginning in 18 years. Whatever, if she wants to continue and wants me to continue, I'll probably be there. But, honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen. That's up to the writers. If they want to have me back, I'll consider it. We'll see what I'm doing. I could be doing another Cronenberg movie.
Right. At which point...
Yeah, I'll see ya.
We got snack bars over there that you guys don't have.
Yeah.
I don't know if Grace has those purple snack bars.
They don't have those. They have very different things.
What did you enjoy most about that experience with Greece?
It's nice having, to be honest, it's nice because when you do the Cronenberg movie, it's like 5 weeks in Greece and it's like super intense every day. It's nice having a job where you can sort of drop in and you shoot for 8 or 9 months on that show at a time. So the writers and you get to know each other and you get to know the part, you settle in, you get to know the directors, and you can sort of drop into this part and gain confidence as you go and learn that world. And I haven't been on a show like that in 20 years.
Right.
So, that's the nice part about doing television, especially on that long a run.
Is there a difference between, or do you notice a difference between, like, say, Grace fans and Underworld fans?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I think the Grey's world is a very, huge worldwide fandom. And I had never experienced anything like that. Not, obviously with something like Underworld, I was more someone that started it. Now I'm like a freeloader who comes on at the end of season 18, who's taken their girl, and they're very protective of her. So yeah, there's very different things. But it's been fun. The fandom thing is crazy, but it's a thing I've never had to deal with, but I've enjoyed it. It's been fun.
We were actually talking about the photo you posted on the Grey set, the Felicity chair.
Oh yeah, that was weird because they were both like Disney. And I don't know how that chair lasted from 1998. It was still around in 2021.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to know, how did that happen? And
I don't know. I was just sitting there one day outside my trailer. I was sitting at where we do all our tests for our COVID tests. And I was just sitting there. I was like, that is hilarious that it's lasted this long, just flowing around from studio to studio, But yeah, it was funny for me to see it there.
And what do those, I guess for you as a performer, what do those two shows sort of represent to you?
Well, they're similar type of shows, I mean, really, the Felicity was, I wouldn't be here talking to you without that show. I mean, I sent down a videotape from Toronto, in '98.
I love being able to hear that. And I love that our audience across the country can, sort of love on that fact.
Yeah, I'd never been there. I'd never been to LA, and they were like 5 days out from shooting the pilot on that, and they still hadn't cast that character, so JJ and Matt found me off a videotape, and that was it. I was gone. I was on a plane. And then coming, 20-odd years later, doing this type of show, too, again, it has similar vibes. They shoot it similar ways. So there's something nice about that to come full circle.
Well, I wanted to say congratulations again.
Yeah.
We will continue to support. And hopefully, because I know, as Kristen said, sometimes when you're working on things, it feels like you're hacking up parts. Hopefully this didn't feel like that.
No. It's getting easier.
You're getting
It only took me 30 years, but this is getting easier.
My man. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
man.
Thanks for watching Etalk. Make sure you hit subscribe for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news. And while you're here, why not watch another video? I know you want to.